we'll get started. It has been a long week. Let's see. It is belated, but happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. I missed yesterday because it was Father's Day, and I worked until 9 o'clock at night. Let's see. All right, I'm just waiting for it to load. Give it just a second. I have a few short announcements that I'll start in just a second, but it won't take too long, and then we'll get into the questions. I did finalize a ton of stuff about QuailCon, which I'll talk about in just a second. All right, we are good to go. I do have a couple of announcements just real quick. It is a rapid fire Q&A, so if you have any questions concerning quail or anything that I can help you out with, feel free to ask in the comments. If you can put a couple question marks or exclamation points at the beginning and or at the end, I would greatly appreciate it so I can find them a little bit easier and faster. It is going to be a rapid fire, so I'll only be reading the comments that are questions tonight. But I'm glad that you're all here, so thank you very much. I do have a couple of announcements. I did finalize everything that I can right now with QuailCon. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about with that. I'm going to do a separate video on that. And then everyone that's purchased tickets so far, I'm going to text, and we're going to do a specific live just for that. So if anybody has purchased tickets that have questions, they can feel free to ask there. Tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be live with Little Ridge Farm on their YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out. I did put a link to the YouTube channel, their YouTube channel. I did put a link to their announcement at the top of the page. My Myshire Farm should be in like a bright orangish yellow kind of color. And my kids left the door open today, and so I've got like 15 flies in my house, and all of them seem to be in my office. So that's cool. So I'll have to deal with that. I went to the dollar store, and why does no one sell fly swatters anymore? So that was annoying as well, but we'll deal with that later. Also, I'll be live Thursday at 7 p.m. on Whiskey Tango Farms YouTube channel. We're going to be discussing and going over QuailCon and all the stuff that we've planned. So make sure you'll check that out as well. I'll also be doing a video on it shortly. And I'm a little overwhelmed. And I just wanted to talk about that just for a second. Summer's here, it's warm out, it's time to get stuff done. If you're on a homestead or a farm, you know exactly what I mean. If you're working towards that, you know exactly what I mean. And there's just a lot of moving parts all the time. We've got the business, and we've got the farm, and we've got the this, and we've got that, and we've got QuailCon, and we've got, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So with that being said, I did do, in my opinion, a really good video that I just have to edit, but it is the balut process. So we showed you candling to boxing to taking, and then I asked each, I think I dropped off 5, it could have been 6 orders that day. But when I dropped them off, I asked all of them the same exact questions. How long do you keep them for? How long do you do this? How, what are you doing with them? Why so many? How do you do that? And they all gave me the answers. I'm going to share that with you in it as well. And we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to do balutes in that video. So that video for sure will be coming out this week. I just have to put it together. And then the next couple of videos will be all about QuailCon, but they're going to be kind of different, so they're going to be kind of cool. So make sure you check that out as well. So just to recap real quick, Rapid fire Q&A tonight. If you have any questions, ask now. Put question marks or explanation points at the beginning and or at the end so I can read it a little bit better. I am going to try to go fast tonight. I know I'm taking a while talking, but I am going to go fast tonight. So I won't be reading all of the comments, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And everybody that's here, thank you so much. The reason why I said I was a little overwhelmed is because I think I'm going to be taking a small, I don't want to say a break. I'm going to be slowing down on social media for about a week or two, just until I can get some of these projects fully completed, because it's driving me crazy. Like, I'm starting to lose sleep at night, and I want it done. Social media and YouTube videos and things like that, I do enjoy them, but they do take a lot of time and effort and planning and things like that. So I gotta get this stuff done, especially since QuailCon's right around the corner. But tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be on a YouTube channel called Little Ridge Farm. It's going to be a live Q&A kind of interview kind of deal, and so I'm excited about that. Make sure you check that out. The link is at the top of the comments. I posted the link to it. And then Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be live on Whiskey Tango Farms YouTube channel. So much for me taking a break, right? But after that, I got to get this stuff done. So I think that is all the comments and announcements that I had. Let's get into the questions, shall we? Let's see. Ari says, my hatch rate is sadly low. My nurture 360 temps are set at 101.5, but Govey said it was between 99 to 150% fertility, and then 25% hatch rate. Humidity's... your humidity was a little too high during the incubation process and a little too low during the lockdown process. So you had a humidity issue, but if you only had a 50% fertility rate, that means your temp was off. And if you only had 25% of those hatch, you definitely had a humidity issue. So I definitely would check that. I would wrap the Nurturite 360 in a towel or a blanket, and that should stabilize a little bit more. But obviously, you can message me. My phone number's on the website. You can message me and we'll get you refunded for 50% of the eggs. But it's definitely not reading correctly for sure. This fly is going to drive me crazy. Let's see. Again, welcome everybody that's here. It is a rapid fire tonight, so I'm only reading the questions. But I don't think you all heard me at this because I think it was still loading. But yesterday was Father's Day, so all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. I hope you had a good day. Jeff says, hi from Ohio. First of all, I'm very happy with my hatch, but I hatched one Tibetan tuxedo out of your feather sexable mix. Just wondering how that is possible. It could have been lost in the generations from many generations ago. Landon says, my did only 4 birds hatch out of 32 eggs in my order from Southwest Game Birds. I would contact them, see if they have any tips for you, but obviously, make sure your incubator's reading correctly. It's not a bad idea to wrap any of your incubators with the towel or blanket to help stabilize it, but it could have been a bunch of different things. Angelo says, hey Zach, I heard about your son going to the ER. Is everything okay? Yes, he's doing much better now. He did have surgery on Thursday, so we were gone most of the day on Thursday, and it happened on Monday. I think it happened on Monday. So that kind of took me out of play for a couple of days, which made me even more behind, and things just don't seem to get done as well when I'm not around. So we just got super behind on all kinds of stuff, but doing much better now. Thank you very much. Yeah, we do have fly traps in the barn, but in the house, I really don't want the fly traps. I just want to swatter and then go around and get them. and then yell at the kids and not let them open the door anymore. Gail says, could you suggest fodder seed, please? I do not know. I'm not familiar with it. We have over 6,000, so doing anything like that is just not reasonable for us. So I'm not too sure. I do know that Verna put either she shared a video or she did a video about fodder, so you can check that out or get with Verna, which Verna Young and Ed Got Bait are my moderators here on our YouTube channel, and they do a great job. So thank you very much. But I do know that she has a video that she has access to anyway. David says, Zach, can you give a general update on the AI outbreak? Realize it can be regional in nature. It is slowing down quite a bit. We are getting tested again in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I don't know. I don't even know what today is. 19th maybe? 20th? It's the 20th. So 2 weeks. So I'll have a lot more information then. And then I'm hoping that he'll do a video while he's here on just an update for you guys. But I haven't heard anything for about 3-4 weeks. Well, I guess it's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks and like 2 days is when the conference call was. And everything changes so quickly. So, but I'll get you an update as soon as he gets here. One way or the other, whether he does it or he tells me and I do it. S. McKee says, hi everyone, I made my first egg sale today. That is awesome. Congratulations. That's really cool. Congratulations. Braden's in the house. What is your most popular quail breed that y'all sell? Jumbo Wilds. By a lot. By a lot. Loretta X3 says, hi Zach, what would you say is the #1 way to obtain customers when you are just beginning the business? It's kind of a two-parter. So I'm going to give you one that no one's really going to like. And then I'm going to give you one that really, really helps. When you're first starting a business, you want it to be profitable, you want it to be successful, you want to see the fruits of your labor, and so on and so forth. And you need to. But you have to play the long game. So the first piece of advice that I can give you is educate, educate, educate. Our motto here, our game plan, our business plan is to educate, encourage, and enthuse others to become more self-sufficient. And we specialize in Coturnix quail. And we try to show people on other ways to do it, but we mainly focus on Coturnix quail. I think that Coturnix quail is an amazing first start for people that just don't even know where to start. It's kind of like a gateway to being more self-sufficient in other ways. So, hand out flyers, hand out pamphlets, anybody you sell to, make sure that you give them resources, whether it's Facebook groups or YouTube channels or printed literature, whatever the case may be. Educate, 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 because the more you can educate, the better they'll do, the better the process is for everybody. So if you don't get a good hatch rate from me, then I don't succeed, you're not doing well, we need to come together. So, educate, educate, educate. But to get those customers, there's a lot of people that just don't know about quail or quail eggs or the benefits of quail eggs, or where to get them or anything like that. So free. I took over, Jenna had started the business, and then I think I got involved, and then when I decided that I was going to make it a big push, and that I was going to really focus on this, we stopped sales for 6 months completely, and all I did was give everything away. Everything. I gave everything away. I gave them to friends, I gave them to people at the church, I gave them to neighbors, I gave them to just walking into businesses. I walked down the street and I'd give them everywhere. Business cards and quail eggs and, all kinds of stuff. And you just need a few to start. Once you get a few customers and you make them very happy, you help educate them, you help them be successful in their business, you get them excited about raising their own meat or eggs or eating healthier with quail eggs and think, knowing at least where it's coming from, even if they're not raising them, they know you personally rather than just a chain of stores or whatever. That really is contagious. And so if you're excited about doing it and you're passionate about doing it and you push that on, I don't want to say push, don't push. If you relay that same enthusiasm and excitement and passion to your customers will do that to other people, and then it just starts growing. It's kind of like what is that saying? I can't remember the saying, but I mean, word of mouth is obviously the number one marketing tool that you can have. So the more you can make happy and educated, the better you'll be in the long run for sure. That was a really long answer. I apologize. Let's see. Joy's in West Oregon. Welcome. Glad you're here. Essentially, Kimberly says, I'm so excited. My button quail hatched yesterday. They are the size of my thumbnail. So cute. Very cool. Congratulations. Bruce says, what is the best quail to start with? Really anything feather sexable. I really like to recommend with people starting out, I like to recommend them the feather sexable mix because you're going to get standards and a few jumbos in it, but all of them are going to be feather sexable at 3 weeks old. So it's a great starter. You're going to get the larger eggs and the larger meat as well as the consistency of the standards. So I really like to recommend the feather sexable mix. Plus you get a variety of colors, which is always fun. And then you put those together, and feather sexable to feather sexable quail will always produce feather sexable quail. I mean, you might have a strange one here and there from generations past, but for the most part, it's feather sexable. So that's always fun. Walmart's just so far away. Yeah, I obviously got to get them because they're going to multiply by tomorrow. So I'll be doing that after I get off here. Sharon says, have you ever ate a balut? I have not, and not gonna. I'll sell them, and I'll teach you guys about them, but it's just not for me. Cody says, what is your expected survival rate from hatch to 8 weeks? I hatched 65 and I'm down to 56 at 3 weeks. Is that normal, or am I really bad at it? I mean, you're going to lose a few. Typically, the rule of thumb is about 5 to 10%. 10% is pretty high. 5% is about the normal range. So 10% of that would have been 6. So you're a little high. If you're just starting out, that's not too bad. You're going to have to learn some things along the way, which is not a big deal. But I do have a best practices for brooder process, and I would assume you lost most of them within the first week. So I would watch that video and see what you can do differently. They're much easier to raise now that they're 3 weeks old, so you probably won't lose any more, and if you do, it'll just be, one-off. But you need to focus in on that about week or first week to a week and a half. And I do have a couple of videos about the brooding process and a best practices video that should help a lot with that. Little Ridge Farm says, I appreciate you letting me interview you, Zach. I hope everyone comes over to watch and enjoy a good time. Absolutely. Again, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be on Little Ridge Farm YouTube channel. Welcome from Ghana. Glad you're here. Let's see. Linda Easton, I promise I'm going to call you. I swear it. I promise. One day before QuailCon. Morris says, just ordered 50 jumbo eggs from your website last week and so excited. Awesome. Congratulations. And I will get them out as soon as possible. Let's see. Just ordered from your website last week and so excited. That's wonderful to hear. Congratulations. And yeah, I'll get you out as soon as I can. For egg sales, eating ambalut, are you using standard or jumbo quail? Standard eat 50% less than jumbo standard. Where does one get standard wild? We use standard for all of our corporate accounts and all of our balutes. We don't use any jumbos unless they're shipping out or hatching out for us. I mean, we don't really sell standard wilds. I mean, you can get some in the feather sexable mix, but you don't need wilds. Just, again, the feather sexable mix will do the trick for you. As long as they're feather sexable, you'll do well. When should I put quail eggs into lockdown? Typically on the morning of day 15 is when you can put them in. Angie says, I'm new, hatched 21 quail 3 weeks ago, can't decide what direction to go with. I'm rural East Texas. Suggestions? I don't really know what you mean as far as direction to go with. I'm sure I would have an opinion for you, but I don't really know what you mean as far as direction goes. But congratulations on your 3-week-old quail. I just need you to specify a little bit more about what kind of direction you're thinking about going, and I can sure try to give you some suggestions. We do have eggs on the website at myshirefarm.com. You can check that out. Welcome, Charles. Welcome, Chris. Callie Quail Keeper says, hey, Zach, I'm separating my tuxedo celadon, putting quail with most white, tuxedo and cage, separate from others. Wait, quail with most white, tux and cage, separate from others. Will this help to produce more white tux faster than a general colony of Rosetta tux? No, it will not. I mean, it's not an horrible thing to do, but no. Rosetta tux to Rosetta tux will give you just as many as Rosetta and whites. Personally, I don't like the Rosetta and white thing unless you're just trying to make it. But once you get past that stage, our Rosetta tuxes are with our Rosetta tuxes, and our scarlet tuxes are with our scarlet tuxes, and so on and so forth. Let's see. Not talking to me. Yes, you can use a homemade incubator to hatch quail eggs. A lot of people do that. Chris says, I got 100 foot of hardwire cloth about to make my hutches. Very cool. Congratulations. And good luck. Angelo says, what steps did you take to breed the Egyptian feed? We had to do a couple different things, but the majority of the time we put Egyptian hens, standard Egyptian hens with... No, we switched that out. We tried to put them with one of the fees, but we got better results with the fab fees. So we actually put fab fee males with Egyptian hens, and that was our best result, getting as many as possible, as quickly as possible. Jennifer is in the house. Remain welcome. Starting out with quail, how many should I get? Typically, I think a 50 count would be a good deal, because if you get 50 and you hatch out 25, you've got about 12 or 13 hens, which will give you about 11 to 12 to 13 eggs a day, and that's a great start right there. Debbie at She Shed Homestead donated $5. That is actually going to our 18 and under contest. We've not had enough money yet in donations to get an incubator for next month's winner. So thank you very much, Debbie. I appreciate it. And if you want to donate to the 18 under contest, it's the $ in the chat section. It's either a super sticker or a super chat, and that will go straight to the 18 and under contest. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Can I formulate my own feed for my quail? That is above my capability. We do we customize our feed, but we don't make it here. We have Klombach make it. But I do have a video on what percentages they should be and what we feed and things like that you can check out. If you have any questions, I've got over 400 videos about quail on our YouTube channel. You can just type in the YouTube search bar, feed by Myshire Farm, or brooding process by Myshire Farm. I mean, there's going to be videos that will help you along for sure. Jumbo Wilds are 14 weeks out. I'm sorry. But pretty much the whole right side of the barn, all the colors are almost only a week out, sometimes less. So I'm getting pretty caught up on that. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see. S.O. Swanson says, if you all enjoy the content and learn something, click the like button, support Zach and the team. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hidden Creek Quail, welcome. Glad you're here. Let's see. Again, Debbie at She Shed Homestead, thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Family Activity says, what age do you retire your hens and do they stop laying at a certain age? It's a good question, and yes to both. We do something differently than what I recommend, so I'll tell you what I recommend and then I'll tell you what we do. So I recommend you switch out your males about every 9 months and your hens every about year and a half. You could do 2 years, but year and a half is ideal. Now we switch our males out every 6 months, and we switch our hens out once a year. Just because we sell so many hatching eggs and ship them all over, we need to keep on top of all that. But if you're just selling locally or just raising them for you and your family or some neighbors or friends or whatever, yeah, the males just switch out once every 9 months. That's when they start depleting, and then the hens will lay anywhere from 1 year and 9 months for the jumbo wilds to like 2 years and 3 months for the scarlets. So on average, they lay for about 2 years. But it's always good to get them out a little bit sooner. So like a year and 6 months, a year and 9 months, get those out, put the other ones in, because when they start getting older, they stop laying as much, and then one day you just won't have any eggs left. So you got to do it a little bit sooner. Let's see. Josh's Punk Rock Gardens in the house. Hi, y'all. Sorry I'm late. I hope everyone's well and had a great Father's Day. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I worked pretty much all day. Went to church, came home, and worked until about 9 o'clock at night. But I did get caught up on my phone, which was nice. So thank you. All the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Let's see. Sliver760 says, what age are chicks less likely to perish due to heat stress? Been around 100 degrees with 55 humidity in Houston. The heat really doesn't. I mean, they need to get out of the elements. So, like, they need to have shade and ventilation. So, if their shade is just a small little, brooding box kind of thing, they're all going to be in there away from the sun rays. But there's no ventilation in there, so that won't help. So they need to have ventilation. But really, as long as they can get in the shade and get out of the elements, the temperature really doesn't bother them that much until high, like 130, 140 degrees. Really doesn't bother them too much. I mean, you might have one or two that don't make it because of it, but the majority will do fine with it. It's more the elements, the rain, snow, sleet, predators. They just need to feel safe and secure and somewhere where they can go to get out of harm of all that. But a good rule of thumb is to take 4 water bottles, put them in your freezer. When they're froze, take 2 water bottles out, put them in there. When you feed, they'll kind of lean up against it, cool it off, and then just switch them out. Take the 2 out of the freezer, put them in the cage, take the 2 in the cage, put them back in the freezer, and just rotate them, and that will help them a lot. Something fast, easy, and pretty inexpensive. Right now, I mean, I'm sure bottled water will be $87 by the end of summer, but right now, only cost you a couple bucks. Michelle says, when you transfer from the grow out in the bigger cages, do you just add them to the existing birds? How do you not get bullying when adding the new quail? We don't add new quail to existing flocks until they're at least 6 weeks old, preferably 8 weeks, but at least 6 weeks. And then we add them in there, and we really don't have many issues. But yeah, we don't put our grow outs into existing cages at 3 or 4 weeks old. They're just too small for that. Uh, you're always going to have a chicken feed. I mean, that's not running out anytime soon. That's, that's huge. So, I mean, and they do fine on a, general layer feed. So, a turkey starter will always be around. That works fine. We use that for years and years and years. And then a general layer feed, a broiler feed, not broiler feed. Anything that's a layer feed will do just fine. Any crumble. Reorganize. Wait, I think I skipped one. There we are. Hold on. Linda, thank you very much for the donation to the 18 Under contest. I really appreciate it. If you don't know what the 18 Under contest is, feel free to type in the search bar 18 and Under contest by Myshire Farm, and we did a video on that. I will be updating that as soon as I get these projects done. But it's a great cause. We do it once a month to help the next generation get involved with self-sufficiency and get out of the house and more hands-on approaches to learning responsibility and entrepreneur skills and things like that. Jasmine says, at what point does the summer hot temperature humidity affect laying quality of life and eggs in a negative way? I mean, we get around 100 here, 105 at the most, so they do fine with that. The people that are New Mexico, Texas, Florida, that gets really, really hot, I really don't hear anything, at least. I don't hear anything till at least it's like 120, 130, which, I mean, everything would stop laying at that point in time. Like, that's just way too hot. But again, the temperature really doesn't affect them too much. Just make sure they have shade and ventilation. Okay. When they start laying, should I incubate and grow more or use them? I don't have a clear vision. I'm 63 and I have a farm looking to make money. Best ideas or videos to watch. Oh, okay. So, so you're wanting to do a quail for profit. Let's see. I don't remember how many you said. I think you said like 21. Yeah, well, I've got a playlist called Quail for Profit that you can check out. That will give you a lot of tips, tricks, and ideas to get customers and who to sell to and where to sell. So I definitely check that playlist out. It's called Quail for Profit. We also have a Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, that's called Quail for Profit. So you can join that and see what other people are doing as well. So that's a couple of ideas for that. And then I'm a big believer that you do slow and steady wins the race. So if you've got 21, we're going to assume you've got about 10 hens, which will give you about 8 eggs a day. So that's around 40 eggs a week. So I would split them up. I would start selling half your eggs and then start incubating the other half so that you're growing your quail and your business at the same time. Would be one recommendation that I would have. Let's see. Debbie says, I'm putting my first jumbo Egyptian eggs tonight. 60 eggs. Awesome. Congratulations. And I'm sure you'll do great. Good luck. Linda says, food question. Does anyone have experience supplementing duckweed? I do not. You can get with Verna. I think that she's got a couple of videos about that or knows who did the videos on that. You can definitely join the Newbie Quail Lovers Facebook group and Quail Call on Facebook, and they'll have some good information on there. Actually, another good Facebook group would be the Self-Sufficient Quail. And I know that I've seen a bunch of posts on there about supplementing their feed, so you can definitely check that out. Supplementing for me would just not work. It'd be more time and money than what it's worth with how many cages and quail that we have. So that's just not something that I can really talk on. Essentially, Kimberly says, are pearl fee feather sexable? Yes, they are. I would say they are feather sexable. They're feather sexable at more of a advanced stage. So if you're a beginner, you would be able to feather sex most of them, and some of them you would have questions on, which is fine. You can always reach out and I can help you out, or you can post on the Facebook groups and they can help you out, whatever. But they're a little bit Oh, the pearls. Yep. Feathers expo 100% of the time for newbies. I was thinking the pansy fees. The pearls, yeah, very easily feather sexable. And we have a video on how to do that. It's the playlist called All About the Colors. And then each color has its separate video. It's just a few minutes long, but it shows you what they look like, how to sex them, how big they get, how many eggs they lay in a year, their lifespan, all kinds of really cool stuff. Egg size. Jake says, what happens if you give quail too much rooster booster? I like to give it to them continuously, but not a bunch in their water. I'd be a little weary of that. I have not experienced. We don't over. We don't. There would be no reason to continuously give it to them. I feel like. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But I mean, most of life is about moderation, right? So. I'd step back from giving it too much, once a month, once every 2 weeks at the least, or at the most. Truck 3 Warden just donated $50 to the 18 and under contest. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That is a very generous donation, and that'll go to the 18 and under contest. I think, I would have to look, but I think that is enough for this month's 18 and under contest. I think that just hit the mark. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. That's very, very generous, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Angelo says, can heating plates be used? Oh, hold on just a second. Linda, you donated $5. I just hit that comment as well. I know I already mentioned, but thank you very much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. Angelo says, can heating plates be used to substitute heating lamps for brooders? They can. Yep. A lot of people do it. You just got to be a little bit careful when they hit about that 2.5 week old mark, because they're still going to need heat. And it can be high enough, but it might not be big enough for all of them to fit in, because they start getting real big real fast. So that's something that Living Tradition Homestead came in. They called. And we had talked back and forth, and I said, I'm a little concerned about the heating plates. They're like, I think it'll be all right. I said, okay. They called and said, hey, it's working great. I said, awesome. And then they called me when they were 2 weeks old, and they're like, we have a problem. And I said, okay. And it was just, they just didn't have enough space for all of them to fit in there. So they moved a bunch of them outside into their workshop area, put a heat lamp on those. So just keep that in mind. Dan says, hey man, long time in between watching. Just got some quail down here in Australia, only getting a few eggs a day. We're in the winter, but can't wait to run a few through the incubator. Awesome, congratulations, and I wish you all the best. That's great. Linda says, yeah, we've been watching them. Oh, you're not talking to me. 5-year plan says, chicks have started pipping this morning and none hatched yet. How long does it normally take? From the first pip, about, 6 hours. About 6 hours this morning. So you're pretty late in the day. I would increase your humidity about 5 to 7% more, and that's probably where your issues right now. So I would increase that humidity and help them pip out, because them are breaking out. Them pipping and not being able to break through usually means that the egg is too hard. So you increase humidity so you can soften that egg. So they're obviously not strong enough to break through that egg yet, which, the shell is pretty tough. So you just need to increase that humidity, and you should have a lot in the morning. Corey says, been 107 so far in Fort Worth, Texas. Birds doing good in the heat, good shade, decent breeze. There you go. Dan's, not talking to me. Psycho Ward 360 says, we lost birds on the last heat wave. I installed misters on the patio, and it's keeping it 12 to 15 degrees cooler, but then I turn on a fan. It feels great on the patio when it's 110 outside. There you go. Pretty cool. Rip says, does it normally get a lot of double yolkers when hens start laying? No. when they first start laying, the first week or two is going to be all kinds of stuff. You're going to get different colors, you're going to get different shapes, you're going to get different sizes, and all that stuff. They're working out all the kinks. So I mean, a lot of abnormal things for the first week or two once they start laying is normal, yes. Again, Truck 3 Warden, thank you very much for your generosity. $50 to the 1800 contest. I really appreciate that. That was very kind of you. Oh, you already did it.
It's not important to me, so I wouldn't think about it again.
Okay. Cool. It looks good. I'll check it out after this. Josh's Punk Rock Garden says, Zach, speaking of pearls, can you sex them by their head feathers as well as their chest feathers? For the most part, some of them are going to be a little tricky. Some of them try to trick you on that. But for the most part, majority of the time you can, yeah. I had some I wasn't sure on until I noticed their heads look different. Yeah, for the most part, the pearls are going to have black heads for the males. And then the hens will be pretty much white. A little bit of black, but like most of the males, like it's a full black head. If it's not a full black head, then most likely it's a hen. But again, sometimes they will try to trick you. So just keep them not. It would be a good idea to look at both, because sometimes they do that on the chest too. Sometimes there's like a little, little necklace like for the spotted chest, just a little necklace. And so you're like, is that a hen or a male? You can usually look at the head and go, oh, it's an all black head, which means it's a male. It's just kind of weird markings. Dan says, okay, great. And what temp should I store eggs at before incubation? Typically ideally it's 70, 75 degrees, but as long as it doesn't go below 32 and it doesn't go above 99, you're good. It doesn't really matter that much. Um, 10 to 12 weeks out for fertilized eggs. No, the standards and all the colors are about a week out. All the jumbos are between 12 and 14 weeks out. Josh's Punk Rock Garden says, with the heat plates, I use a 12 by 12 inch plate, and I've had no problem with up to about 15 birds. There you go. Very cool. And that might have been the issue, because I think Living Traditions had 50 in each brooder, I do believe, because they had a massive hatch rate from us, like a really good hatch rate. I think they had like 50 in each brooder, or 50 and 40 or something like that, and they just had one heat plate in each, or maybe I can't remember. But yeah, 15 birds sounds great. I just know that they had more than that, so that's a good thing to keep in mind. Thank you. Has anyone ever freeze eggs for winter? I have a lot of eggs. We have not. I'm not too sure how that would work. I got jumbo whites. Congratulations, Charles. Good luck to you. You do get a notification when they ship. When you order, we automatically send you an email with confirmation, and then before we ship, we'll send you an email with the tracking information, and typically we'll send that out a few days before we actually ship, so you have about 5 to 7 days to get everything prepared. How often do you get standard wild hatchings from jumbo wild? Well, I keep hatching out jumbo wilds for us to increase our numbers. So in the past, I've had about 400 3 months in a row at least. So 10% of 400 would be 40. There's nowhere we're close to that. So 5% would be 20. Less than that. 3 to 4%. 2-3%. Less than 5% of the time you get standards out of the jumbos. For the wilds. Start again. I have jumbo whites. I want to know if I could use jumbo brown with the whites. You can. You'll get jumbo wilds, jumbo whites, and then eventually you'll start getting tuxedos. But I mean, they'll go together. That wouldn't be a big deal. What does quail taste like? Dark meat chicken, pretty much. Pretty much. Dark meat chicken, for the most part. All Things EDC says, what is the ideal jumbo egg size in grams? I don't really focus on the egg size. Really doesn't affect very much, and I do more hatching than I do anything else. So we try to keep our jumbo wilds anywhere from about 14 to 18 grams. Sometimes if the quail is pretty big, then I'll go down to 12 grams for the egg, because the egg just doesn't really matter that much on size, and I focus more on the meat aspect and the size of the birds. Plus, once you start getting really big eggs, they start laying a lot less. Their lifespan is shortened quite a bit, and so it's nice to have, again, moderation. It's nice to have a nice sized bird, nice sized egg, and longevity than saying, oh, I've got a 1.5 pound quail that lives for 3 months and only laid me 2 eggs, you know, because we've been there, we've done that, and we thought, oh, bigger the better, and then we hit, you know, over a pound, and we're like, oh my god, we're awesome, and then it just, they're not made for that. They're just not, you know, that's not how big they're supposed to be. When we put our quail to grow out cage, make sure that they are fully feathered and put them out late in the evening. They have longer to adapt to the 100-degree temp. There you go. Beyond the Pass says, I'm getting close to outgrowing my backyard for my quail business. I'm in Southern California. Do you have any suggestions since my business scaling is going bigger? That's awesome. Congratulations. As far as space goes, I mean, no, not really. I mean, I would have to see your place, but I mean, double stacking cages or triple stacking cages, or you know, I mean, if you put a 10-foot cage all the way at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, you could probably put four high. And if it's 10 by 3, that's 30 square feet. You put 3 quail per square foot, that's 90. I mean, that's 360 quail in just a 10-foot by 3-foot area. But I mean, it's hard to say because I don't really know what your setup is or what space you would have. But I mean, that's definitely something you'll have to definitely look into because space becomes an issue. Any tips to help quail deal with high heat humidity? It doesn't really affect them very much. I mean, you can put a mister in there. You can put a little fan on their cage. I personally liked the water bottle situation. So you put 4 bottled waters. 2 bottled waters per cage. Nope. 4 bottled waters per cage. Put those in the freezer. And then in the morning when you go feed them, take 2 out, put 2 in the cage. And then when you go feed and water them the next time, you take the 2 out of the freezer and switch them with the ones in the cage, put the ones in the cage in the freezer, and then they kind of lean up against it and, kind of cool off that way. And I like that idea. I think this skipped up. Nope, it didn't. I will send an order at the beginning of Jumbo Wilds next month. I still have to build the hutches. Well, good luck to you. And again, we're a long way out on the Jumbo Wilds, unfortunately. 5-year plan says, so humidity is at 70% now. A few eggs have actual holes for the pip, and that it seems like they have just tired out. Should I worry, or should I just go to bed and see? No, I would increase your humidity because it's not lying, or it's lying to you. It's not 70%. If it was, then the eggshell would be soft enough where they would have been able to break through. But if it's been all day and they still haven't been able to break through, their eggshells are too tough. So you need to increase your humidity at least 7%. I would say 10% because it's not reading correctly. . Do jumbo quail take longer to hatch? No, not. I mean, maybe 12 hours. Not a lot. No, not noticeable. Yeah, the reason I say 7 to 10% is because they started pipping early this morning and they still haven't been able to break through, which means that we need to up that humidity fast. We've got a 25 count and a 50 count, so definitely check that out. Thanks for showing up, Debbie, and thanks for the donation. I appreciate it. Do they have a problem with heat? No, not really. Not until it gets really, really hot, like 130 degrees. But as long as they have shade and they can get out of the elements, they do just fine. Rip says, can you remind me where to get the coated wire mesh? It's a great question. Critterfence. Critterfence.com. Critterfence.com. I'm almost positive that's what it's called. I put money on it that that's what it's called. Critterfence.com is where we got all of our coated wire, and they're fast, great, good prices, best around. I really liked them. Oh, well, guess I didn't have to look that hard. Ed already responded. Do you have any tips for hatching ducklings? No, I do not. I don't think I've ever hatched ducks before. I mean, we've hatched ducks, but just with their mama, not putting them in the incubator. So no, I have no tips for you, unfortunately. I'm sorry. That is all the comments, everybody. Let's see, about an hour, so not too bad. I know that I've been pretty, I did want to talk about a couple of things. So I think this is going to be important for a lot of people to hear. So hopefully you stay for just a few minutes, and hopefully I don't waste your time. But I'll go fast. But I really do enjoy doing the videos, helping people, communicating with people. I really do enjoy that. And so we're never going to stop that. But I am going to have a longer time responding to texts or emails. For the next couple of weeks. I will not be putting out as many videos for the next week or two because I've got to get this stuff done. And, you know, like yesterday, I'm just really behind. And so for Father's Day, I got home from church and pretty much worked all day until my daughter came in here and said, we'd like to play with you for a little bit for Father's Day. Can we go outside? And I was like, God, I'm the worst. So, you know, I went outside for an hour and a half and we played together and it was fun. But I don't really feel like my daughter should have to remind me to do that. So I got to get these projects done because it's killing me. So I am going to be taking a small step back from social media for a week or two, just until I got caught up. I do have a ton of good videos coming your way though. Great ideas, great things to talk about, great information to share. I just need you guys to give me a little bit of time. Also, okay, here's the important part. How do I say this politically correctly? Political correctly. I don't know how to say that either. I don't do a lot of research with what everybody else is saying on social media. So I don't know what happened or how this started or I don't have any idea. But I've had an abundant amount of people asking to me really weird, odd questions lately about quail. And I've not had these questions before, and it's not one or two, it's like 15, 20 texts a day that are getting strange. I don't know how else to put it. So I don't know if there's information going on out there or there's a big discussion going on, and I just don't have the time to check right now. But like, the reason why I love quail and the reason why I think everybody should have quail is because they're so easy. Um, we, we as quail owners, we make it harder, and that's just us. We just do that. We worry about the heat, and the heat's fine, and we worry about this, that, and the other. They're okay. I mean, you got to work out the kinks when you get started. So if you're new at this and you're having some issues, that's completely normal. You'll work it out, and you'll be great at it, and you'll be really excited about it. So don't over stress. But we overthink things. You know what I mean? So we tend to make it harder because it's so easy to raise them once you get it down pat, that we try to make it harder than what it is, because it can't be that simple, but it really is. But there's been a lot of questions and comments that I've had lately that's going in a whole different direction. So, I'm not saying it's, well, yeah, I guess I'm saying it's wrong. I usually say there's no wrong way to raise quail, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this. So there's a lot of people talking about a lot of stuff. Only using one male and moving the male from cage to cage every few days or every few hours or whatever. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But and you might not have this question. I'm trying to explain it so that if any of this arises, you'll understand where I'm coming from. And hopefully this will help you in your mindset with raising quail. The great thing about quail is you raise them, you learn from your mistakes. It only takes 1 or 2 times. Then you're a pro at it, and you get good hatch rates, and you don't lose any during the brooder process. And then you put them in the cage, and then they start laying eggs. And then you feed and water them, and you collect eggs every day. It takes 10 minutes. You're done. You're good to go. Once a week, it takes an hour to clean the cages and get rid of the poop, and then so you're spending 2 hours a week on fresh eggs and meat and all that. That's a really big positive thing, right? I mean, you don't have to. It's not a difficult thing to raise, right? So moving males and only using the males, or only using like one male, you're moving the cages a lot, and I just feel like it's an unnecessary thing to. Why make it harder? Like, just put them in the cage and enjoy. You know what I mean? I've had a couple weird questions about artificial insemination. I don't know why you would do that either, because you put a male in the cage and it's going to breed within minutes. I mean, I just don't. So here's my point. If you're into that, then that's fine. No wrong way to do it. Mostly. But if you're talking to people and you're trying to get other people involved, remember why you started doing it, right? So to me, quail were fast turnaround time, super easy, put a lot in one cage. I mean, you feed, you water, and you collect eggs every day. Now, I work 12, 14, 16 hours a day, but I've got a different setup. I've got more of a business setup and things like that. So I just see, I mean, I've probably answered 100 texts in the past week about things that are just a little unnecessary, that you don't have to worry about. So I'm not trying to tell anybody that they're wrong. I'm not trying to tell anybody that that's not how you should do it. What I'm trying to say, and I guess I'm beating around the bush because I just don't know where it's come from. So I don't know, I'm not trying to offend anybody. But there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the world, and quail and harvesting your own meat and eggs is a wonderful source, and I highly encourage everyone to do it, right? And I'm assuming most of you do too. With that, that can't be the only way that you're self-sufficient. Like if you're just raising Coturnix quail, you're not self-sufficient. You're start of it, you're part of it, and you're doing great, but you're just not. You got to do more, right? There's got to be more, and there's just not enough time in the day, right? Ever. So, my advice to anybody that cares, and if you don't care, I'm sorry. And what I've told all these people is make it as easy as possible. We've got, I think the last number I saw was like over 100 farms that have burnt down, or food distribution plants burnt down this year. Plus, we're going to have wildfires in California and Texas and New Mexico, and we're going to have this and that. And I think we're going to have crazy weather this year because it's hotter than torment already, and it's June. Like, it's just unbelievable. And then we've got all kinds of craziness in the world. So, inflation and possible, I mean, you know, I watched the news the other day and they're like, well, we can't say it's a recession yet. Well, okay, I get it. You can't say it because the technicality of it is you have to have two, you know, quarters in a row that are decreasing. I get it. We're not through second quarter yet, but we're in a recession. That's just what it is. And gas prices are over $5 a gallon, and you know, interest rates keep skyrocketing, and this, that, and the other. And you all know that. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Spend. Time management is key. That's what I'm trying to say. Time management is key. So don't spend hours and hours with raising quail, especially if you're not a beginner. Get your process and then start moving on to something else that can help you become more self-sufficient. So I really do believe that Coturnix quail is an amazing first step in your self-sufficiency. I really do believe that. I think everybody should raise them. I think they're perfect for anybody and everybody out there, especially people that have no experience with becoming more self-sufficient, or no experience with being self-sufficient in any way. I think it's perfect. Just keep that in mind, that we got a lot to do, you know, because we got to be more self-reliant. So don't make it harder than it has to be. If you do want to do that stuff, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just my thought, and I thought I would share it tonight because I've had a lot of texts in the past week or two, and I don't know where it's coming from, and I don't really care where it's coming from. I mean, there's no, like, the information's not wrong, it's just not necessary, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that helped rather than hurt. I don't know. Maybe I should have looked where all this information was coming from first. I don't know. But yeah, just remember, raising quail is super, super easy once you get a hang of it. So if you are new and you are having issues, and you're having incubator issues or brooder issues, guys, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's okay. That is normal. That is why we do our live Q&As. That's why you can text me anytime. It's completely fine. It happens. You've got to go through the learning process. That's okay. But once you get it down, I'm telling you, it's as easy as pie. Really easy. So enjoy the easy process, and then you can spend more time on the hard stuff. That's all I'm saying. It looks like I had a couple more comments. Let's see. There's a question mark there. Okay. Today I took a male out of my community cage because the other two males hurt him a lot. After he heals, can I put him back in? You can try. What I would recommend is take the other two males out and put them in a dark box for about an hour. Put the newly healed male in, and then you can put the males back in after about an hour. But if you put the previously injured male in with the males that are already in there, they're probably going to do it again. So your best chance is disorient them and not make them so territorial. Again, everybody out there, thank you very much for being here. I'm only reading the comments with the questions or explanation points. I already wasted a lot of your time rambling on. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you guys want to do that stuff, that's completely fine. But, you know, like here on the farm, I've got bees and I've got, you know, I want to learn more about the bees, and, you know, we're trying to do a chicken coop and a rabbit cage, and I need to learn about rabbits, and, you know, we've got emus and electric fences, and we've got cows and pigs, and I need to learn how to butcher, and, you know, just daily life. And oh, my water heater went out last week, so I've got to install a water heater, which means I've got to watch YouTube videos, because God forbid I spend money on someone that will install something. I just have a big problem with that. I just do it myself. I don't know what I'm going to do. Don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll find a way. So there, I mean, just life in general. So that's pretty much just what I meant. What do you think happened to all of those cattle in Kansas that died? I don't know. I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist. Jenna, the older I get, okay, I'll just share. The older I get, the more I don't want to word it that way. That comes out wrong. The older I get, the less I am interested in watching the news, because it's bad. It's so bad all the time. Oh, Jenna watches the news, and of course she watches it right before we go to bed, and I don't know why. Like, I've told her a million times, if you want to watch the news, watch it at like lunch. Then you can think about it all day. But she watches the news, and we hear this awful, terrible crap, and then neither one of us can sleep, and Jenna's just thinking and worrying, and I'm just trying to plan, like, okay, well, how do we do this? And it just drives me crazy. So the older I get, the less I care about watching the news, and I just want to live in my bubble. And I just want to say, okay, well, I've got this and I've got that, and can we do this? And okay, what about that? And let me learn about this, and, you know. So I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It's starting to be real crazy on how many facilities have burnt down. There was you might be talking about the cattle and I think that's the one there. It was like, that just happened about 2 weeks ago maybe. And God, my heart just goes out, you know, because all these farms are, I mean, even if they sell to the big chains, they're still a family farm. That's devastating. I mean, even if they get insurance money or they get, you know, bailouts or whatever, I mean, that's their family. They've spent. That's awful. It's awful. So I don't know. I don't wish that on anybody. And, you know, maybe this is a good sign. Maybe this is putting us all in check. I know it is for me this year. It's put my butt in gear. And I said, okay, you know what? I've got pigs and I've got cows and I've got goats and I've got, you know, this, that, and the other, but I don't know how to butcher. So if the world goes to crap, I just got a bunch of animals that I have to find out how to feed because I don't know how to eat them, you know? So, you know, I'm trying to learn how to butcher, and then I'm like, all right, well, you know, if we lose electricity, I got nothing, you know? I got no water, I can't keep any of the, you know? So now I'm trying to research about solar, and then I'm thinking, okay, well, solar's really expensive. Maybe I can just solar the well, you know, the pumps to the well, so then at least we always have water. I don't know, you know, but my mind just keeps racing. But it has put me in gear, you know. That's why we're getting meat rabbits this year, and that's why we've added chickens, and that's why we've gotten bees, and, you know, I feel like all I'm doing is spending money on all these projects, but on the same token, in the long run, I'm going to be more self-sufficient, and that is the goal, you know. Little Ridge Farm says, hope everyone comes and joins Zach on my live tomorrow. Going to be a good time finding out more about Mr. Zach and Myshire. Thank you very much. Again, Little Ridge Farm, I'll be on their YouTube channel at 7:30 tomorrow night, so check that out. Yes, I'm positive that they are hands I bought them. Oh, you're not talking to me. Being self-sufficient is more important than ever. Just do what you can and start with something, even if it's just some extra cans at the grocery store. Absolutely, I agree. And I've lost a few people, and that's completely okay. There is one more thing I wanted to say, and I was fighting myself saying it or not. I really feel more than ever that we have a responsibility. And one, I have a responsibility that I need to take care of my people. I need to take care of my family. So I need to get these projects done, get meat rabbits in here, finish the chicken coop, fix the emu door. I need to, start on the projects that I promised my family and my wife that I would get done this year. And there is just, there's lumber in the yard, and there's bricks over here, and there's, half a door. I mean, it's just, it's driving me crazy. And so I need to take a week, but when I come back and when I say I'm going to go full force, I mean, I'm going to go full force on social media. And it might not even just be about quail. I think it's going to be a majority about quail. But I think that I have a responsibility, even if I can just help one or two people, literally one or two. I mean, I've got 40,000 plus subscribers. That's awesome. I'm very, very blessed to have that. Thank you all for being subscribers. I really appreciate it. And we've got a big following on Facebook, and we've got this, and that's great. But literally, if I can find one or two people that have never done anything or thought about being self-sufficient in the slightest, and they start thinking about it at least, that's my responsibility. And I think that all of us have that responsibility right now, because I am not talking politically. I'm not talking about social views or political views or any view out there. Everybody on here has to agree that we are not in a great place globally. We're just not. I mean, there's wars, and there's famines, and there's fires, and guys, we're not in a good place. And that's okay. That's okay, because we can't fix that. But what we can do is try to find one or two people to help educate, encourage, and enthuse, so that maybe they can do a little bit more for themselves and get a little bit more sleep at night, saying, well, at least I started this. Well, at least I have this, maybe they just raise quail. Well, that's okay. Maybe they need to do more. I don't know. But at least they started something. So I think that if I can implore you to do anything, that is to try to get the word out there just a little. And it doesn't have to be about quail. I mean, if you do bees or rabbits or gardening or whatever the case may be, but I do think that we have a responsibility to try to share why we think it's so important to take control a little bit. Because I am afraid that a lot of people are going to try to take control, and it's going to look a lot differently in a lot of different ways. So if we can maybe take control of our own lives, because I think that the world is getting away from us, it's just doing its own thing. I think we all feel a little sense of powerless, right? I mean, I feel like the world's burning around me, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get meat rabbits. I mean, that's all I can do, though. So it is what it is, right? I can only do the best that I can. I also think that we have a responsibility to try to navigate someone to try it, or to at least think if that works for them. I keep trying to talk to my mom about it, and she's not doing it. So I guess if the world goes to crap, I'll just go pick her up. She can come back here. Let's see. Wish Doctor says being self-sufficient is more important than ever. Just do what you can and start with something, even if it's just some extra cans at the grocery. Absolutely, I agree 100%. I think I already read that one, but that was a good one to read again. Let's see. That's true. Getting here, but to your point, I came home on day 13 in the incubator and the temps were running 107.8 degrees. I just knew I had killed all of them. I'm so sorry to hear that. Ugh. Fran says, when raising quail for meat, do you keep them at 30% until harvest? I do, yes. They are cheap and easy to raise. I mean, nothing's cheap anymore, but yeah, I agree. Long story short, 76.4% hatch rate. That's awesome. Congratulations, William. Looks like you got it under control quick. You did a great job. Congratulations. Thanks so much for the information. Not a problem. Down to 16%. I don't know what that means, Fran. I'm sorry. Oh, you weren't talking to me anyway. I appreciate all the time that you spent sharing your wisdom and experience with us. Thanks again. Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Larson Farm says, I have 8-week-old jumbo wilds, 20 female, 20 males. Some of the females have been scalped really bad from mating. Do I need to start calling the males now, or am I safe to wait a week or two? They're 8 weeks. I'd call the males now. I recommend 5 hens to 1 male, so you've got a lot of males for sure. Let's see, do you have any quail that lay blue eggs? Nope, I got rid of, well, I didn't get rid of, but I separated the celadon, so I don't sell them anymore. Remember, even Noah has conspiracy theorists until the rain came. There you go. Critical thinker that observes and draws conclusions. It's okay. That's a very good way to say it. That is a very good way to say it. I think it's quite odd how many things have been happening. And it seems like it's just like a 5-second talk about on the news, and then they spend like 40 minutes on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard or something, but then there's like a, oh, by the way, 15,000 cattle died in a fire. Back to Amber Heard. And it's like, wait, what? Hold on. Go back. Go. What? It's really annoying. Of course, my mom is just, she was obsessed with the Amber Heard thing. She would text me all the time. Did you see what happened today? I'm like, no, Mom. I didn't. So I know a lot more about that whole story than what I would care to know. Jumbos have been in the incubator for a week. The Rosettas started laying at exactly the same time. I placed 3 of their eggs in with the jumbos. Started calling males last week too. That is awesome, father figure. That's great. Congratulations, and you are well on your way. Congratulations. Essentially, Kimberly says, I just ordered the Feather Sexable mix. Is that one 14 weeks out? Feather Sexable mix? No. About a week. About a week out on the Feather Sexable mix. AV Quailcom, like the name. Have my eggs in the incubator on day 14. It got up to 140 degrees for about 3 to 4 hours. I got the first pip crack on day 19. Did most of the eggs die? No, I would highly encourage you to increase your humidity a lot. The first pip crack on day 19. I'd increase your humidity 10% right away. And I think that your incubator is running low. I would increase your temp 1 full degree. I'd increase your temperature 1 full degree. I'd increase your humidity 10%, and then I'd leave them in there for 3 days. 72 hours is what I would do. And for just 3 or 4 hours, I mean, 104 is high, but it should be okay. And I don't think it's reading correctly because your first pip happened on day 19. So I think it was running a little low anyway. So yeah, I'd increase the temp, increase the humidity, and give it 72 hours. We have meat rabbits coming in a few weeks. The Rabbitry Center is where I place my order. 2 does, 1 buck, New Zealand whites. Very cool. Good luck. And you're ahead of me. I was hoping to have them by now, and I'm behind schedule. Katrina says, I agree, self-sufficiency is where it's at. Learning more to be more self-sufficient, and most importantly, sharing information on how to reach those goals. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Much better than how I said it. Butchering anything is just like the quail. Get the blood out, skin and gut, then cool it till you can cut it into your cuts for canning or freezing. Yeah, it's just. I'll get it. I'll get it. Just the cuts are different. But I'll get there. I've done rabbits, pigs, and goats, chickens, and quail. Very cool. We have an Ohio group that live in different areas of Ohio and still help each other. We each have our strengths and help all of us to succeed. Very well said. I have rabbit, quail, and garden. My yard is a mini forest. That's good. That's awesome. I bet it looks amazing. What is the hottest your incubator can run and eggs still be viable? Usually the safe zone is between 99 to 100. I guess that's the green. The yellow is 100 to about 101. And then red is 101 up. It really depends on how long it is. You know, if it's 20, 30 minutes, it's not a big deal. If it's a couple hours, you should still be okay. If it goes for like half a day to a full day, you're going to start seeing issues. Yeah, you're in the safe zone, 99.2 to 100. I still don't believe it. I would increase the temp 1 full degree is what I would do, especially since you're on day 19. Crystal says, if hens are going to stop laying after a big change, how many days does it usually take for them to stop? To start, maybe? I would assume you mean to start. And typically it takes up to 2 weeks, but anytime there's a big change, give them electrolytes in the water. That will lower it or help them not to lay at all. But typically it's 2 weeks. Sometimes you can get them a little bit less than that, but typically it's a 2-week time frame. Is that Zach? That's why I don't watch the news anymore. Hey, everything's awful. Anyway, here's an hour of coverage on celebrities. Right? I know. And it drives me crazy. Here's another thing. Here's a rant. It drives me crazy that every news channel gives, it's an hour news channel. And for 58 minutes, it's the world's burning and we're all doomed. And then the last 2 minutes, they're like, oh, but watch this cute little panda and kitten cuddle. And it's like, you don't need to pander me. I don't need something at the end to make me feel like, come on. Just drives me crazy. I don't know why that drives me crazy so much. Jenna says I overreact, but I hate that. Suggest watch the Bearded Butchers. They explain cuts, etc. Awesome, thank you. I actually am very blessed that I've got a butcher, like that's his full-time job, is he's a butcher, across the street. So I'm going to bribe in any which way I can to get him over here, and then he's going to teach me one-on-one. So I'm pretty excited about that. No TV in the apartment, not for the last 8 years. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna not go with TV, but I can go without the news. Can electrolyte for water be made at home? I'm sure it could. I don't know how you would do it, but I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there how to do it. Day 17, 100 degrees and 74% humidity with the Gogi thermometer. No pips. Should I be concerned? Day 17, no, I wouldn't worry about it until at least another day. If you're still not seeing anything in 24 hours, then I would increase both. I would increase your temp a half a degree and increase your humidity 5%. But no, they should start laying on day 17, so you might be a little bit late, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would assume when you wake up in the morning, you'll have a ton. Mark says, how far out are you on the jumbo white wings? 13 weeks. I am on the standards and colors. I'm 5 to 10 days out. On the jumbo whites, I am about 2 weeks, a little less. No, about 2 weeks out on the jumbo whites. About 10 weeks out on the jumbo Egyptians. About 12 to 13 weeks out on the white wings, and 14 weeks out on the jumbo wilds. I don't know why I keep that all in my head. I mean, I also wrote it down, but for some reason I memorized it. What did you usually do? What do you usually do about wryneck? I do call. Sometimes usually they're not going to be super productive. Like they might grow up, they're just not real. They're going to be kind of smaller. Sometimes they get picked on. I usually call right away. Um, we've tried to raise them up to butcher, and they just don't grow as quickly. So, sorry. How many eggs lay fertile off of one mating? That varies. I don't go any more than 3 days. Some people say 2 weeks. I think that's a little ridiculous, but my rule of thumb is 3 days. And I did extend this for an extra 30 minutes, so I do apologize, but hopefully some of that resonated with you or for things for you to think about. But I'm really in a space right now that it is it's very important to get as much done as quickly as possible, and so um, take the simple things for the simple things and move on to something else. So, like I said, I've had a ton of texts and comments lately about, doing this with your quail and doing that with your quail and raise them up, put them in a cage, lay the egg, get them to lay eggs, collect the eggs, feed and water, and, enjoy the process and move on to something else, is my philosophy and thought. Don't make it harder than what it already is. It's not hard at all, but don't make it harder than what it needs to be, is what I mean. So that's my thought. Stopping in for a quick load before bed. Hope all is well with little guy. Thank you very much, La Rochelle Farm. Yep, he's doing much better. He is on crutches, and I keep yelling at him because he's not using them unless he's around me. So trying not to make it worse, and I just don't think he comprehends that yet. So that's been the struggle right now. But surgery went really well. The stitches, where they cut into his tendon was a little bit bigger and nastier than what I thought it would be. I thought it'd be a little bit cleaner and tighter, but I'm not a doctor, so I would assume they did it right. I don't know. Just seems like it would be smaller than that. But he's recovering nicely. Surgery went well. He's still here with us, and so yeah, it went well. Thank you very much. Do you use vitamin electrolytes for chick babies? I don't. I use them. In fact, I did a video, I think maybe a week or two ago, and that is when and why and how to use electrolytes. It's maybe the second or third video from, it's like 2 or 3 videos ago. I would check that out, and that'll explain exactly what we do with the electrolytes. Thanks for taking the time to give us all the info. You rock. Thank you very much, Joy. And last thing I'll mention, I won't waste any more of your time, but last thing I'll mention is the wait times. I'm still not changing them because I still have to get some corporate orders out. But for you that have stayed with me and that are watching the lives, all the colors and standards are within 5 to 10 days of hatching or shipping out. So, well, all of them. Pretty much. Pretty much all of them. German pastels, Rosetta tux, all tuxes, Rosetta, Scarlet, Tibetan. All the standards colors are about 5 to 10 days out once you order to ship. So we are getting caught up with that. I don't want to mark it on the website yet until I get these corporate orders caught up. And then the jumbo whites are about, I think earlier I said 2 weeks, and that was not, I was a liar. It's about 4 weeks for the jumbo whites. About 10 weeks for the jumbo Egyptians. About 6 weeks for the jumbo sex links. 12 weeks for the jumbo white wings, and 14 weeks for the jumbo wilds. And as soon as I get all my corporate orders caught up and they're not cussing me out all the time anymore, then I will update the website. But the less orders, the more I'm getting those orders caught up. But I think I've only got 1 more balut and 2 more corporate orders to get out, and then everybody's caught up, everybody's happy again, and I gave them a discount since they've been waiting a long time. I'm waiting since like February. So let's see. Any more? Let's see. Thanks for all you do, Zach. Couldn't be doing this quail journey without you. Thank you, moderators. You're awesome. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody that showed up. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for listening to all my rant tonight. I appreciate it. And good luck to you. And as always, stay safe. I do have a great Quail for Profit video for you coming out this week. If you do try to contact me through text or email or Facebook messages, I will get with you, but I probably will not even look at my phone until probably Thursday, because the next week and a half to 2 weeks is all about getting all these projects done. So I gotta take the farm. I got to pay enough attention to the farm as much as I do the business. I have a big problem with that. So I gotta get that stuff done. Plus, my wife is starting to yell. So love you guys, and I really want everybody to be happy, and I want all of our customers to be happy. But when the wife yells, it's time to do something else. All right, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great night, and as always, stay safe.